Welcome everyone, I'm Ati the Hero, and today we're gonna talk about a pretty special game. Now you see, this game has next to no information recorded on the internet from what I could find. But so what game am I talking about? Well, it is none other than the driving action police game World Super Police for the PlayStation 2. The game was developed by Suzak Incorporated and published by Midas Interactive Entertainment in the UK. In Japan, it was released by Jalico, I'm not sure. That's about all the info I could find.
Yes, only you.
The game is cut into two pieces. One half follows Red Hawk,
Yes,
the US half of the WSP.
everyone's dead.
The other follows Blue Wing, the Japanese equivalent of Red Hawk. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to point out that I haven't played through the game entirely either, because I don't have that sort of free time on my hands at the moment, but I did play through a good chunk of it. So with that out of the way, choosing Red Hawk has you control Alicia Masterson, the sole survival of an incident with the street gang Bandersnatch, which left Red Hawk in ruins and Alicia with amnesia. Choosing Blue Wing, on the other hand, will grant you control of Masanori Matsudaira, who, from what I could tell, doesn't really have a lot of story going on. Because of this, I played way more of Alicia's campaign, because at least it has something that slightly resembles an interesting plot. The game's story is told through visual novel-like cutscenes.
I'm Amin. Do you remember me? I'm the Red Hawk operator.
And now, we get to the actual problems. For starters, the camera. It might just be a preference thing, but for me, the camera is just way too low for it to be effective in play. Now, this wouldn't be an issue if, say, the game would have a free camera, or if it had an option for a race chase camera. But alas, it has no such things. Instead, it has an even more zoomed in camera for whatever reason. A first-person camera which I refuse to use because if I can't drive in third person, chances are the same will be even truer in first person. And the helicopter camera, like anyone in their right mind will use it in this game. Especially with the issues I've yet to bring up, which reminds me, I should move on to other things. Like the repetitiveness of the game. For example, quite literally, the first level in Alicia's campaign wants you to arrest the guy without force. Wanna see how that turns out?
Did you see that? Give up, you evil. All went well and no one was hurt.
Sure thing! Except that one charred corpse that used to be a criminal just 5 minutes ago.
The arrested gang member was fearless and kept repeating that his fellow brothers will come get him out.
I've got nothing. But so, then let's compare that to an arrest where you're allowed to use force.
Did you see that? Give up, you evil.
In this video I just showed you, you probably noticed another problem. That's right, the frame rate. Anytime more than one car's shooting, the frame rate gives up on life. This is a pretty big problem, considering 90% of the game consists of you shooting other cars and them shooting back at you. Now to move on to positives, as those are things as well, the game is pretty customizable for what it is. You can choose a set of formations and switch between them on the go. For every mission passed, you unlock a new car and the game has 4 types of cars. There's stealth-focused cars, attackers, defenders, and all-rounders, which the game calls Almighty. You also have, at the very least, 2 weapons to choose from, both in the secondary and primary slots. Though I don't like how the game doesn't let you use all of your unlocked weapons on all cars, but whatever. You can also choose accessories, like more body armor and accuracy enhancers. To move back to negatives before moving on to graphics, the car's handling really isn't the best.
Please head west.
I'll be the first to admit that I'm not good at driving in video games, but I'm pretty sure I'm not ping-pong off the sidewalks bad. Which is what I did a lot of times in this game. To be quite honest, this is one of the only parts I have no problems with, along with the concept itself. The game looks about on par with the title of this caliber. The music I don't mind because I didn't actually hear much of it, cause it's drowned out by the sirens and shooting and cars. Now the voice acting. Oh man, the voice acting. Now look. Usually, I keep this segment sweet and short to avoid talking out of my ass. Because to be frank, I know jack about the how-tos and how it should be of good music and voice acting. Normally, I don't have the ear to identify it as bad, and I mean, it's not necessarily the whole problem here either, but just the whole bloody presentation surrounding it is all bad. For examples,
Give up, you evil! Are the plans all set?
We need a little more time.
Alicia was the only one that returned from the devastating battle with the road gang, Bandit Snatch. Although she was not fully recovered, she had to keep on fighting the criminals. Criminal activities were on the increase, and she was determined to face the fangs of the evil.
So in conclusion, what do I think of World Super Police? Well, it has a dumb name for one, but I really don't mind that as much as the camera, the handling, the frame rate issues and the repetitiveness. Sure, it has good parts, like the customizability of it all, but it's not nearly enough to balance out the bad, let alone overshine it. And so I give this game 3 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video, and with that, goodbye.